You're tuned into the District Nation Series preview for hot takes, storylines, players to watch, and everything in between for this upcoming series. Brought to you by Watch It Fly Media. Now, here's your host, District Nation.
And welcome in everybody to District Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in as we are getting ready here for a series preview for the series between the Chicago Cubs and the Washington Nationals. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help out the channel just a little bit. But the Washington Nationals are coming off a series where they just swept the Cincinnati Reds. They just got a 3-game series sweep over the weekend. That was really great. The Washington Nationals needed a win. They were just coming off that selling point during the trade deadline, coming back home after a bad road trip. One thing this team needed to do was win, and that's exactly what they do. It was really good to see that. We'll recap that series. What happened, what went well. Nothing really didn't go well. I mean, everything was in sync. First win, a 5-3 win. Then the next day, you kind of blow up some runs. You put up a great score on Saturday in that Saturday night game with a score of 8-2, and then on Sunday you put away the series 7-1. So look at Friday a little bit as we get here into this. We'll talk about the series preview. We'll talk about the debut that's going to happen this week in Jackson, Kent. Some numbers from him and two of our hottest hitters, Abimelec Ortiz and CJ Abrams. Ortiz, the recent call-up. Let's talk about Friday a little bit. This entire weekend, we saw CJ doing a little work in the leadoff spot. He didn't have a great day on Friday. He was 1 for 4. But the Nationals do get a win of 5-3. And all the runs in this game were off of home runs. In the top or the bottom of the first, you get a Dalen Lyle 3-run home run. Then the top of the second, Suarez responds with a solo home run. And then McLean in the top of the third responds with a home run, 3-2. And then Ellie De La Cruz comes in and hits a home run to tie the game. They go back-to-back. But then in the bottom of the fourth, Harry Ford says, I'm going to get on the board. Harry Ford with his second home run of the year would be a 2-run home run. Funny, Dalen Lyle scored on that home run. That was his second run of the day, so he was doing some work on the base paths as well, scoring runs. He would end up being 2 for 4 on the day with 3 RBIs. So good day for Dalen Lyle, who's looking really, really good. I mean, the on-base percentage isn't as high as people want to say, only 297, but he still is hitting 247 and above 700 OPS at 717, 15 home runs, 61 runs driven in, and he's also hitting a few triples. He still has 5 triples this year compared to 11 last year, and he has 6 more home runs than he had total last year. So let's look at Saturday, but before we look at it, just look at Friday. Cade Cavalli, a good start, 7 hits, 3 runs. He does give up 3 home runs, but he does have 8 strikeouts over 6 innings, so good outing for him. He gets the win. Then Giovanni Cruz looks really good. Orlando Rebalta looks great, and then Clayton Beeter with save number 12. We'll talk about Giovanni Cruz here with this next recap as well. Giovanni Cruz would pitch 2 days in a row. On Saturday, the Washington Nationals get the win by a score of 8-2, raising their record to just 3 games under 500. And this time, the bullpen does have to do a little work because Andrew Alvarez gives 5 1/3. I thought he should have gone more. I thought Andrew Alvarez had more innings in him. Looking at his pitch count, Andrew Alvarez, in his time, only threw 73 pitches, and he got through 5 1/3. I think since Alvarez is in the rotation now, he's no longer a bullpen arm. Someone needs to talk to Blake Butera and tell him, he's the rotation guy. You got to give him time. You got to give this guy availability. Give him a leash. Let him go 7 innings if he's going to go 7, not just 5 1/3. And it's not like he was starting to get shelled. That was his 3rd hit he gave up before he was taken out. 2 strikeouts, has lowered his ERA to a 3.76, so he's looking really, really good here. And his stretch of not giving up home runs. That's the thing Awesome Andrew is really good at. It's keeping the ball in the park. This year, out of the bullpen, and as a starter, 17 games, 9 of those starts, 69 1/3 innings worked. He has 2 home runs given up. So Andrew Alvarez has been very good at keeping the ball in the park. Hard contact, but it's not fly balls that get out of there. So later in the game, you'd have Max Kranick come into the game, who ends up giving up 1 hit, and it's a home run. So 1 run credited to Alvarez and then 1 to Kranick. Giovanni Cruz does even more good work for the Nationals. Giovanni Cruz is looking very good. On the podcast Locked On Nationals, they talked about the host over there. He was saying that this guy could be our closer. And I completely agree with him. This guy worked an inning a few times now where he's worked an inning now and he hasn't given up a run. So with the Nationals so far, 3 outings, he's given up 1 run over that time. That's 2 1/3 innings worked. He pitched with the Yankees before this, where he had a few big league games in the year of 2026. In 2025, he didn't have any work, neither in 2024. But this guy is looking to be maybe a setup man, maybe a closer. Giovanni Cruz is the one thing the Nationals have never had, and that's a flamethrower. His fastball can run up to 102, and it looks easy. it is great because it does not look like he's trying when he throws that pitch, and it is amazing. He's smooth, he's fluid, and he grabs strikeouts. 7 2/3 innings worked, 9 strikeouts this season. I'd love to see him in a bigger role. Tom Cosgrove ends up closing it out, but it wasn't a save because Nationals already a 6-run lead. Helped out by an Abimelec Ortiz single, and then later in the game you get a Dalen Lyle single, then you get an Andres Chaparro double, a Jacob Young single, and then in the 8th inning they apply a few more runs. They put 2 on the board with a Andres Chaparro single and then a C.J. Abrams single. One name you heard a couple times there, Andres Chaparro. Got to talk about him as well. He has raised his average to 235 and a 348 on base percentage. His numbers are looking good now. His numbers, the splits here, because before the All-Star break, he hit 167, but he did have a 308 on base percentage. Helped out when he drew 10 walks over 54 at-bats and total a lot more plate appearances because he was being patient. But one thing, post-All-Star, he's hitting 318, a 400 on base percentage with 5 home runs and 21 runs driven in. He has already matched all his numbers from the first half. He's only played 18 games now in second half. He played 31 in the first half. He's looking great here. His numbers are great, and he's facing a lot more lefties. That series that the Nationals started the second half with in, let's just say, Sacramento now, because they are the Sacramento Athletics for now. A great series for Chaparro, where he ends up having the longest home run of his career and one of the longest in MLB this year, showing off his light tower power there. But he hasn't cooled down, really, when he gets these starts. In the month of July, hit 324. He's hitting 263 here in the month of August with less ABs. He only has 8 games so far in the month of August, and that's usually where he taps out, 13, 16 games. You'll see him play not too many games in a month because he really just to get starts against lefties. And I like that. They're playing to his strength of hitting lefties, and that's good for Chaparro. Let's look at Sunday now. After the 8-2 win, the Nationals winning the series 2-0. On Sunday, it was just for fun, and they had fun with it. 7-1 win. You get Brad Lord as kind of an opener strategy. He was scheduled to make the start. He only goes 2 2/3 innings. Will Dion gets his first win of the season, his first career win. He had a great outing. 3 innings, 1 hit, a strikeout. Workhorse numbers. I mean, if this guy's the new Andrew Alvarez, I'm happy with it. Andrew Alvarez was always our workhorse. I am fine with this. If we have Will Dion to work 2-3 innings and give us just some solid baseball, even if it isn't perfect every single time, it is amazing to watch Will Dion go out and do that. And then Trevor Williams works 2 1/3. He gives up 1 hit, a couple strikeouts. ERA is still at 0 for Trevor Williams so far. Williams is looking amazing out of the bullpen. 8 1/3, 11 strikeouts this season since being called off the IL. He's looking amazing. 2 1/3 of a gem of baseball. And then in the 9th, you don't really need to turn it over a closer. You can just give it to Jake Bird. This year, he had 36 games coming in with an over 5 ERA, a very high ERA. All that matters to me is when he pitched with us, 1 game, an inning, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. Good job for Jake Bird coming in and finishing it off. So, for once, the Nationals' bullpen was the star. The bullpen was good. Our starters won. Max Kranick struggled a little bit, but everyone else kind of just did their job. Cade Cavalli gave up those home runs on Friday. Max Kranick gives up the home run. And here on this Sunday game, no runs given up by the bullpen in over 6 innings of work after Lord can only go 2 2/3. Will Dion carrying the load. Great work from him. And the offense showed up as well. You get a K-Bet Ruiz single, and then later in the game, an Abimelec Ortiz home run, and the Dalen Lyle single. Jacob Young grounds out to score a run, and then Andres Chaparro with a double. The biggest name there is Abimelec Ortiz. Abimelec Ortiz got the call back up to the big leagues on August 3rd after being sent down on July 12th, or July 13th was the exact day he was sent down. He played 1 game before the All-Star break. Now he has 22 at-bats in the big league, 6 hits, 2 home runs. That is a 273 average, 4 runs driven in, a 304 on base percentage. He's getting the other starts because Chaparro and Abi are splitting time. Lil Poppy and Chaparro are splitting a little time here. It is a great system. I love it because Abi does well against righties, and then you get another guy in Andres Chaparro who rakes against lefties. It works out perfectly because their workload is perfect. Abi doesn't get as many starts. Chaparro doesn't get as many starts. You can't really replace Louis. Louis was one of the better hitters in the league. You're not going to replace him after he gets traded to New York. Luis Garcia Jr. is 1 of 1, but you can recreate him. Abimelec Ortiz is looking good. He's got a lot of pop. I get flashes of just a guy who can really rake at the big league level against righties and maybe even lefties one day if we continue playing Butera ball here in D.C. where Blake Butera is running the show, then I don't see him getting many starts against lefties with him having Chaparro and Ortiz for now. Ortiz only 24 years old, so I think he's here for a while. If we're going to make a run, he's a part of this team. Chaparro, age 27. And you'd say he's more on the veteran side, but he's only 27 years old. He's the veteran side of it. This offense is looking really, really good. So let's talk here about one name. Let's talk about Jackson Kent real quickly. Jackson Kent is scheduled to make a start at some point this week. The Washington Nationals have not announced a starter for any day of the week. So here are my predictions. Shota Imanaga is making the start on Tuesday. David Peterson on Wednesday. And then Gausman for the Cubs on Thursday. Guy traded away from the Blue Jays. And then you get Peterson from the Mets. So they traded for two of these guys. I believe they traded for Gausman. But let's talk about Jackson Kent, who at the minor league level this year is 9-4 with a 3.72. He might make his start. His MLB debut could be this Wednesday. It could be today. You don't know. They haven't announced their starters yet. But Jackson Kent this year, 9-4 with a 3.72 ERA, and that's across two levels. At AA, he was 1-1 with a 2.35. 7 games, 30 2/3 innings worked, 38 strikeouts. This year, at the AAA level, 8-3 with a 4.38 ERA. The ERA is in the fours. But first off, it's AAA baseball. It is a big jump from AA to AAA. 13 starts, he has won 8 of them. That means when he has an offense that gets behind him, he's going to win games. And guess what the Nationals offense is good at doing? Getting behind their starter. This is the best offense in the league, the youngest, fullest offense in the league, and Jackson Kent was working with that in AAA, and he was winning games. I mean, 8 of 13, you win, and you only lose 3 of them. That is amazing. And he worked 63 2/3 innings doing so. He's given up 35 runs. He was good with 67 strikeouts. Opponents only hit 234 against him. Let's look at the last start with AAA. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. That was his last outing against Scranton WB, who isn't a terrible team. The Rail Riders are not a terrible team. They're with the Yankees. They have some talent down there. But the Washington Nationals get behind their starters. So Jackson Kent is going to have run support when he gets up here to the big leagues. It's going to be fun to watch this guy who has more than a strikeout in an inning. He looks very good. 94 1/3, worked across 2 levels. 105 strikeouts, a 1.12 whip. Those numbers are great from Jackson Kent. He's a guy you have to get excited about. He could possibly have that final spot in the rotation that they've been looking for, the Zach Littell spot. But you might want to rearrange the rotation as well with this off day. You might want Kent to start today, or you want him to start tomorrow. Jake Irvin is projected to make the start by ESPN. MLB has not confirmed anything as of 10 minutes ago and as of now. So nothing from them so far. The Cubs starters are confirmed, but the Nationals, none of them are confirmed. They have TBDs for most of their days here. So it's going to be interesting when they announce the starters, who they say. Let's talk about the other starters real quickly for the Cubs. Shota Imanaga on Tuesday, 8-9 with a 3.60 ERA. He's been good. He's on a red-hot team as well, the Chicago Cubs. Across 23 games, he still has 8 victories, but he also has 9 losses, a little bit under 500 with the numbers. Good numbers. I mean, 1-32 2/3, 125 strikeouts. The one thing, he's a lefty, so you're going to have to bring the righty order out tonight. I'm actually going to the game tonight. We're going to see Chaparro hit. We're going to see, not going to see Abimelec Ortiz. We're not going to see some of those guys. They're going to bring the righties out. And, of course, Brady House is going to start tonight with the way he's been hitting against lefty hitters. I wonder how he's going to do facing the 32-year-old Imanaga. Wednesday, let's talk about Wednesday real quickly. Let's talk about David Peterson, someone the Cubs got in a trade with the New York Mets. David Peterson, 6-7 with a 5.35 ERA. 23 games, 15 of them starts. He had an opener strategy a little bit. He also has a save this year. Over 106 innings, 88 strikeouts. He's been, I'd say, better in the Cubs jersey. I mean, he's looking a little bit better. 4.03 ERA over 7 games. All of them starts for him, 38 innings, 25 strikeouts. He had a 6.09 with the Mets as a hybrid starter and reliever, so his numbers have gotten better since he went to Chicago. So it's going to be tough to hit him. Once again, you're facing a lefty this time, so 2 lefties in a row. The veteran Peterson. You're going to see a lot of righties get the starts this week. Thursday, the Washington Nationals host the Cubs for the 3rd game of the series. Kevin Gausman will take the start after being traded from Toronto, which was for Brett Bateman and Ty Saldazen. They went to the Toronto Blue Jays. So Kevin Gausman comes over, age 35. He has been with Chicago for a little while now, just one game. He had a 7-inning outing where he actually did really, really well. Only 4 strikeouts, but he did go 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs in that one outing so far. He's 1-0 in that jersey. With Toronto, he was 5-10 with a 4.38 over 23 games. So he looks better in a Cubs jersey. I think Cubs fans would agree with me on that one. He looks better in a Cubs jersey. The numbers have gotten significantly better for the 6'2", 205 veteran. For the Washington Nationals, we're going to assume Jake Irvin is our starter. Irvin's been better since coming off the IL, looking good. Had that good outing against the Braves where he did give up some home runs, but he's 2-5 with a 5.37, so he's trying to find it. He's trying to find it a little bit. He faced the Phillies as well. That was his last outing this year. He ended up going 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts. A decent outing for him. Jackson Kent to make his debut on Saturday, and for the for the Thursday game, Kent will probably make his debut on Wednesday. Thursday, Cade Cavalli. We saw his last outing. Cade Cavalli, we talked about it already. A decent outing, but that's also backed up by a 9-5 season with a 3.57 over 25 games. With this Nationals offense, that's really good. That is proving Cade Cavalli will be here for the long run. He was always obviously a top prospect all the time in the minors, and he's looking great now. I'm really excited to see Cade Cavalli wear the Nationals jersey for years to come. 128 and 2/3 innings worked, 141 strikeouts. Great numbers there. Strikeouts, he's 9th in the NL right now. He's looking great. So that is going to end it, everybody, for our series preview for this upcoming series between the Cubs and the Nationals. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you some point in the chat for a live play-by-play game. And if you want to tune into all these series previews as well, our next stream will probably be this Friday with Commanders preseason week 1. So be sure to check that out. That's this Friday starting at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to tune in, Commanders, Dolphins, that's going to be at Northwest Stadium. We'll be on the mic for it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope to see you soon right here on District Nation for more series previews and play-by-play of Nationals, Wizards, and Commanders. This is YouTube's home of DC Sports, District Nation.